You open the app to check one notification. 40 minutes later, you're watching a stranger rank fast food fries while a different part of your brain quietly wonders what happened to the last 40 minutes of your life. You didn't choose to lose that time. Something in your brain made the choice for you, and it happened so smoothly you didn't even notice the moment you stopped being in control. Here's the uncomfortable starting point. Your attention span isn't just feeling worse, it's measurably shrinking, and the timeline lines up almost perfectly with the rise of short-form video. Researcher Gloria Mark, who has spent over 2 decades studying attention in digital environments, has tracked how long people can focus on a single screen before switching away. Her research found that average focus duration on a screen dropped from around 2.5 minutes in 2004 to under a minute by the 2010s and continued falling as short-form platforms scaled. That's not a small dip. That's your brain's baseline capacity for sustained attention getting cut by more than half within a couple of decades. But the real story isn't just that TikTok is short. It's that TikTok is engineered with frightening precision to exploit a part of your brain that evolution built for an entirely different purpose. Think about your dopamine system for a second. It didn't evolve to reward you for watching videos. It evolved to reward you for finding food, finding safety, finding a mate, things with real survival value, and crucially, things you usually had to wait for. The reward came after effort. That gap between effort and reward is what built your capacity to focus, to tolerate boredom, to push through a slow task because you trusted something good was coming on the other side. Short-form video deletes that gap entirely. Every single video gives you a complete dopamine cycle in under 15 seconds. Curiosity, payoff, curiosity, payoff, on a loop that never asks you to wait for anything. Neuroscientist Anna Lembke, who studies addiction and the brain's reward circuitry, has explained that the speed and intensity of digital rewards can desensitize the same dopamine pathways implicated in substance addiction. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a satisfying video and a satisfying real-world accomplishment at the chemical level. It just knows which one is faster, easier, and infinitely available, and faster always wins the moment your brain is given the choice. This is where studying becomes the disaster it's become. A textbook page doesn't reward you in 15 seconds. It might not reward you for 15 minutes, compared to the rapid-fire stimulation your brain has been trained on. Studying doesn't just feel boring. It feels almost physically uncomfortable, because your nervous system has been recalibrated to expect constant novelty, and studying offers none. Here's the part that should genuinely concern you. This isn't really about willpower. Cognitive scientist Gloria Mark's research also found that once attention is fragmented by frequent task switching, it takes an average of over 20 minutes to fully return to a deep focus state after a single interruption. So if you're studying with your phone nearby, even untouched, even silent, every time you think about checking it, you're partially resetting your own focus clock. You're not failing at discipline, you're fighting a biological process that takes real time to recover over and over, multiple times an hour. So here's the actual hack, and it's less a trick than a deliberate rebuild of the exact mechanism TikTok hijacked in the first place. The first piece is what researchers call temptation bundling, a concept studied by behavioral economist Katie Milkman. The idea is simple. You pair something you're avoiding with something your brain already finds rewarding, so the dopamine system stops treating the task as pure deprivation. This doesn't mean watching TikTok while you study. It means smaller, controlled versions of stimulation. Things like a favorite playlist specifically reserved for study sessions, or a satisfying physical ritual like a specific drink or snack that only shows up when you sit down to work. Over time, your brain starts associating the studying environment itself with a small reward, rather than associating it purely with effort and boredom. The second piece is shrinking the gap between effort and reward on purpose. This is the real secret behind why short videos feel so good. It's not the content, it's the frequency of payoff. You can recreate that frequency for studying by breaking work into absurdly small units, 5 or 10 minutes, and building in a real, immediate acknowledgement when you finish one. Not a reward at the end of 3 hours. A reward every single short cycle. The same rhythm TikTok already trained your brain to expect, just redirected towards something that actually builds your future instead of consuming your present. The third piece, and the one most people skip, is detoxing the baseline. Anna Lembke's research on dopamine suggests that periods of deliberately reducing high stimulation input, even short ones, allow dopamine receptors to partially reset their sensitivity. This means before a study session, even 10 to 15 minutes without short-form video, without rapid app switching, without high stimulation input of any kind, measurably lowers the contrast between studying and your phone. The task doesn't get more exciting. The bar that boredom is being judged against gets lower. Suddenly, the textbook page isn't competing against a stream of 15-second hits. It's just the only thing available, which is exactly the condition your brain evolved to handle. There's a deeper, almost poetic point hidden inside all of this. Your brain was never broken. It was never lazy. It's running the exact reward system it was given. responding exactly the way any reward system would respond when one option offers constant payoff and another offers delayed, uncertain payoff. The dopamine hack isn't about forcing yourself to enjoy studying through sheer determination. It's about quietly restructuring the environment so studying starts to resemble the thing your brain already knows how to want. This also explains why simply deleting the app for a week rarely works long term and why people often relapse hard right after. You haven't addressed the underlying reward gap. You've just removed the shortcut without replacing what it was filling. The goal was never abstinence in itself. The goal is rebuilding a relationship between effort and reward that got quietly rewired by a system specifically optimized by extremely smart people to capture as much of your attention as biologically possible. So the next time you sit down to study and your hand drifts toward your phone within 90 seconds, that's not a personal failure you should beat yourself up over. That's your dopamine system doing exactly what it was trained to do by an environment engineered down to the second to train it that way. The fix isn't more discipline, it's smaller loops, faster acknowledgement, and a deliberate gap before you start, so your brain walks into the work already a little less starved for stimulation than the algorithm wants it to be. You spent years accidentally training your brain to crave 15-second rewards. It is entirely possible to spend a fraction of that time training it back towards something slower, deeper, and actually yours. If this got you thinking differently about something today, that's exactly what this channel is for. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, and take a look at the videos on screen right now. There's a good chance one of them is exactly what you need to watch next. Thanks for being here. See you in the next one.